FM26 is out now on Apple Arcade. This is the version that has the same version of the game that runs on iPhone, iPad, MacBook, Apple TV, basically all across the Apple ecosystem. Unfortunately, it is hidden behind the Apple Arcade subscription paywall. There's no way to go out and buy FM26 Touch for Apple Arcade. And unfortunately, in the same vein, you can't get it on Android mobiles, Android tablet devices. But if you're in the Apple ecosystem, like I am, and you have Apple Arcade because you're either a gaming nerd or, like me, you got it free with I think it came free with my phone. Check. If you've got an Apple phone, you might well have Apple Arcade for free. If you have got it, you can download the game for free. And it is very, very similar to the console game, to the PC game. It's got a lot more in common with those than with FM26 Mobile. This is going to be my first look at FM26 Touch on Apple Arcade. We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we do, I do just want to show you something off of the Football Manager website that just gives you a little bit of an idea of the difference between all the different versions of FM26 that have come out and some of the limitations of Touch and maybe some of the reasons you might still want to play the PC or the console version. I am doing first looks at every version that they're releasing as well. So if this isn't the version you're interested in playing, by all means, go and check the playlist. The version you're after will be in there somewhere because I'm making videos on all of them. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the website because they've put this very helpful table that shows you the differences between the different versions of the game. So FM26 is the PC version, console is the console version. Touch is confusingly the Apple Arcade version at the moment. There will also be a different game also called FM26 Touch that comes out in December on Nintendo Switch, which will be different specs to this, I think. And then we've got FM26 Mobile as well. So if you are comparing it to console or PC, it isn't as good. It doesn't have as many playable leagues as PC. It doesn't have as many nations that you can open up per se as even on console. It's got a smaller database than console. But if you compare it to mobile, it does have more nations, more playable leagues, a bigger database, and crucially, like with console and PC, but unlike mobile, FM26 Touch is built in the new Unity engine, which means it's going to have the new UI, which on PC might be seen as a disadvantage, but on console and touchscreen, I think is a big plus. It's an improvement on where we were before with FM Touch. And also it means you're going to have the new match engine with the new in and out possession tactics and the new 3D graphics that are not available in the mobile version. Unfortunately, just like on console, just like on mobile, you do have the 30-year maximum career length that you don't have on PC. So PC is still the most comprehensive version, but if you're in that Apple ecosystem, like I say, the real unique cool thing about FM26 Touch on Arcade is that you can have the same save on your phone, on your iPad, on your TV, on your computer, if it's an Apple computer, and it will cloud save between all of them, play the same game that plays in the same way on all of them, and it is cool. If I wasn't a content creator, and I think I said this for FM24 Touch as well, if I wasn't a content creator, if playing Football Manager every day on PC wasn't my job, I think I would probably play FM26 Touch on Apple Arcade as my preferred way of playing because I'd be able to pick up the same save on the train, on the bus, on the toilet, in bed, at work, and when I'm sitting down for a proper gaming session. So it's worth a look, is what I'm saying, if you've got Apple Arcade. And on that note, let's have a look. And this is what you see when you open the game up for the first time, and it will look very familiar to anyone who's watched any of my FM26 content this year, because it looks just like the PC version, all to anyone who's played it on PC or on console already. It is basically the same game, except the UI that we've all been so critical of on PC because it's not completely intuitive with a keyboard and mouse. As soon as you play it with a games controller, or in this case with a touch screen, all of a sudden things start to make sense. So similar to on the other versions, you do have to create yourself a manager profile. We're just going to very quickly get a preset one of these in, because we don't want to be messing around doing this too much. Anyone who's watching every one of these first look videos has certainly seen me create a few manager profiles at this point. And it's also worth pointing out that because it's basically the same game across PC, console, Apple Arcade, it's all the same. So if you want to see in more detail how to set up your manager, watch the video that I've made. I think it's called Beginner's Guide to FM26. Yes, I'm playing it on PC, but the screens are exactly the same. The principles are exactly the same. It all works the same way. So you don't need a specific set of tutorials for console and a specific set of tutorials for touch this year. And because it is basically the same game across all devices. And that is quite cool. I think that is progress. You are able to have 5 slots, 5 nations loaded, and it is worth pointing out that the men's and the women's leagues count as 2 slots of the 5. So if you want 5 different nations, you'll have to choose to either do men's only or women's only. If you want men's and women's leagues loaded up, you're only going to be able to have 2.5 nations. For the purposes of this, we're just going to load up England, men's and women's, and just load that up and get into it, just really to show you that it is exactly the same in terms of the way it looks, the way it plays. It is the same as the version that we all know and love now from playing it on PC. So we're just picking, there you go, we've picked Everton. There is the confirmation that I am now Everton manager. And anyone who's watched any of my content this year, like I say, this next screen is going to look very familiar. We just need to save this. We're actually going to cloud save it so that we can play it across our different Apple devices. If you local save it, it will be stuck just on the device that you local save it on. So if you want that cool Apple interactivity across your devices, make sure that you cloud save it. But yeah, we have this portal, which is the exact same portal that you have on PC, the exact same portal that you have on console. It has all your messages down this side of the screen, which are so much easier to go through with a touch screen than they are with a mouse. And then you've got the all the bits along the top where you select your different sections. So we've got the squad section. It's going to give me a tutorial for each of these. So the squad is the little football kit one. And then you've got your subsections within it. And then again, you can go through all of them. So that's the recruitment one. I would recommend you go through all of these tutorials. I've been through them a number of times now across the various versions of the game. So I'm not going to go through them all again on touch, because I know how all of these mechanics work now, because I've been playing the PC version of the game for the last couple of weeks, and it isn't any different, boys and girls. It is the same game. We have this bookmark system as well, which is really cool, and I would recommend you set up your bookmarks, although it is glitching a little on that screen and not letting me do it. There you go. So you can have up to 6 bookmarks on an iPad. I'm playing on a 10-inch, I think it's 10-inch iPad Pro, so that might vary depending on the device that you're on. But yeah, it does have all of the features that you would expect from the new FM26 Unity build. It is slightly slimmed down in some areas from the PC, in the same way as the console version is. One of those areas is you don't have your youth team set up specifically and separately the way you do in the PC version. So there, as you can see, there's no youth team listed on there. Also, training is somewhere. There you go. Training is very much simplified compared to what it is on the PC, as is your staff, even compared to on console. The staff is simplified even further, I think, on, so you've got much less stuff to delegate, far fewer members of staff. So it's certainly, of the 3 Unity versions of the game, Touch is definitely the most simplified of all of them. But it does have the new transfer room stuff, which is some of the new powerful stuff that has basically replaced Director of Football recommendations and offering out for transfers that we had before. It's quite cool if you want to see how that works in more detail. I do it quite a lot in the videos that I've already made. Go watch some of those. Like I say, it looks the same and plays the same. So You can do that this time. You don't need specific FM Touch content. Player database is where your player search used to be, and your scouted players list, you just toggle that on and then you can see all the players that you've scouted as well. And then the big difference, the big thing that sets the Unity versions of the game apart from previous versions of FM and FM Touch, you've got this new in and out of possession tactical creator, which is fantastic. Definitely have a play around with this. Some stuff that you might notice is new if you're a veteran of FM Touch. You can now have multiple tactics. You were never able to have multiple tactics before. You now can, same as on PC. You can have 3 different tactical variations loaded, which is very different from what you had in the past. You could only have 1 at a time previously, but now your tactics are built in possession and out of possession, and you can have different formations when you've got the ball and when you don't have the ball. As you can see there, when we've got the ball, we're a little bit more attacking. When we've not got the ball, we're not. The actual creation of the tactics is the exact same tactics creator that we all know and love from the PC version. That if you've seen any FM26 content, you've seen people go through this multiple times now. You can quick pick your team. It's all very straightforward and intuitive. Right, I think the only other thing that needs to be done from here, we want to play a match. So I am going to jump forward to the first day of the season. And because it has the Premier League license now, something that probably is worth mentioning, is the first day of the season will be the first day of the season as it was in real life. So whoever Everton played on the first day of the real Premier League season is who they'll play on the first day of this Premier League season. So where are we? Is that the first day? The 18th of August, sorry? Leeds. So we are going to go all the way through to that Leeds game. We're going to play that match. We're going to see how it plays. So I'm just going to holiday through to that point, and I will, I'll meet you in Leeds, and we'll go and, that holidays is a bit too far. I'll sort that in a second. Let's go play the Leeds match. There you go. So we've made it through to match day. We've got our in possession and out of possession systems set up. So we can now go to our match. Proceed to match. We might have game sounds on, so we might just want to turn the volume down on my iPad in a second, because otherwise it's going to be obnoxiously loud, I imagine. So let's just turn the volume down quite a lot, and then see how the new 3D match engine with Unity looks on an iPad. An iPad Pro this is, remember, so obviously mileage will vary depending on how new your iPad is, how fancy your iPad is. I think mine is quite fancy, but quite old. I've had this iPad about 2 years now, so it's not like your top spec brand new iPad, but it was the top spec one when it was brand new, like 2 years ago. So I don't know all the fancy naming conventions and stuff like that when it comes to Apple devices. But yeah, if you've got a 2-year-old iPad Pro, it'll run like this. You can get the player stuff out of the way, the same way as you can on PC or on console, just by tapping on it at the bottom of the screen there. And as you can see, it looks an awful lot like it does on both PC and on console, as you would expect. So we've got all of the new animations, all of the new motion capture. You've got all of the Premier League licensing. So you've got all of the licensed kits are in the game. You've got all of the Premier League art is what I want to say. Branding, like on the scores at the top there. And yeah, we've gone 1-0 up, because we're great at Football Manager. You do have a little bit less information on this in-between matches screen compared to what you get on a bigger screen. I know one of the main complaints people have had about the PC version of FM26 is that it doesn't have an adaptive resizing screen the way some of the, or all of the older versions of Football Manager have had. But it is worth noting that on these smaller screens, as standard, it is less information. So it, theoretically, I guess, means it is possible for other versions to have different combinations of things on those in-betweeny screens. That was a good goal, by the way. So, I mean, and again, worth pointing out, this runs on iPhone. You can't get it on, you can't just get it on the App Store. You have to get it through Apple Arcade, but you can run it on an iPhone with the 3D match engine, which is pretty cool. And I do feel sorry for the Android crowd that they can't play this version at all, because I think it is It is awesome, and it is very well suited to touchscreen. And I think we all knew that when we saw the new interface, the new user interface on PC. It's one of the big complaints. It looks like it's built for a tablet. It looks like it's built for a controller. Having now played the console version and now the touch version, I can confirm, believe it or not, it does play pretty well on a controller and it plays pretty well on a touchscreen. And that is another sensational goal. So clearly we are quite good. This Everton team, and Tyler Dibbling in particular, I mean, that is stupendous. That's the kind of goal you didn't get in FM24. So that is very, very good stuff. I'm not going to show you the whole match. I think you get the general idea of how it runs. If you want to see more of the FM26 match engine stuff, my channel is full of it. It's basically with yes, it's stripped out some of the non-essential stuff for the touch version and for the console version, but the actual core of the game, it's the same game. It looks the same. It plays the same. The match engine, the tactics stuff, the bits that for me are the most important parts of the game, the transfer system is the same. The graphics and the match engine, it's the same. And the UI, the bits you have to learn to play the game are the same. Yeah, you can't go into as much depth on things like training and youth development on console or on touch as you can on PC. And to be honest, on the new version on PC on FM26, you can't go into that in the same kind of depth you could on FM24. So there's been a whole lurch in this general direction anyway. And as much as it has rightly upset a lot of the PC players, for anyone who as standard plays the touch version or the console version, I think you've come out of this as the winners. This is the best version of FM Touch they've ever made. Full disclosure, this is a first impression. I've played this game for half an hour, so then it might have a game-breaking bug that comes 3 minutes further down at the end of this video. And if you want me to do a full review on touch when I've put some proper hours into it, let me know and we can always revisit it. And obviously let me know down in the comments as well if there's anything you'd particularly like to see, you'd like me to show you. But if it's something like, a lot of the questions I'll typically get are things like, how do I create a tactic on FM Touch or on FM console? It's the same as on PC now. So when I make a video about how to make a tactic in FM26, those videos are for you, touch players. They're for touch, they're for console, they're for PC. I'll let you know if there's something I'm doing that you can only do on a certain version of the game. But the vast majority of the tutorial, the guide stuff that I do this year is going to be suitable for all of the Unity builds. And my Let's Play series, my experiment stuff, my rebuild stuff, the actual videos where I'm just playing the game for entertainment purposes, you're going to know what's going on because the UI is going to look the same. It's going to look like your game. And I think as a collective, it's going to bring touch, console and PC that bit closer together. The PC lot won't like it, but for everybody else, welcome. We'll have some fun. But I think we are going to wrap the video up there. The match is almost over. We don't need to see yet more match engine stuff. So comfortable 3-0 win for Everton. Yay for me. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for loads more daily Football Manager content. And thank you very much for watching.